Do you ever feel like wolfing out? I do sometimes. It's hard to keep that shit under wraps, you know what I'm saying? You gotta hold that beast right down and just be like, not today, Satan. Not today. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Get out of my head!
Go to work, come home, eat, watch TV, brush your teeth, go to bed. Nightmares, nightmares, nightmares. Alarm goes off, get up, shower, do your hair, fix your hair, fix your hair, fix your hair.
Welcome, boils and ghouls, to the Queenie Todd Show. This month is Werewolf Month, in celebration of me getting, a tad bit older. Where was I? Right. Excellent. I hope you want to join us. I mean me. You know the deal here, right? You already know what I'm about. You've watched enough of my videos, you know. I am the creature of many faces and many genders and many shapes. I don't follow your rules. I make up my own as I run through the night. I'm a damn werewolf, baby! So, if you want to go howling with me and maybe get a little bitten, I'll share my curse with you. Thank you to everyone who's done my werewolf tag so far. You guys are amazing. I'll give you kisses. Mwah! Werewolf kisses. You can do what you want with them. I don't know if you can, like, trade them in for money or anything, but... Such a mushy werewolf. Jeez, go back to the sexy voice. How about this voice? My werewolf voice, is it good for you? Okay, because there's going to be a lot of that sexy voice coming up real soon. Just so you know. Because I'm going to tell you an erotic horror story. Ooh, sounds racy, doesn't it? I wrote it myself. It's called Red Riding Hood's Confession. And I wrote it like 5 years ago. So if there's any like technical errors in it and such, that's why. It's old. It's an old piece. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. And it's werewolf themed. So I thought that I would share that with you. Anyway, let's get on with the story time. This is called Red Riding Hood's Confession. She wandered through the thick forest, her red cloaked back like a crimson gash across the dark foliage. Leaves crunched under her leather-booted soles, the laces done up all the way to her knees. She just polished them that night, just the way he liked it done. Little rituals were needed to please one of his kind. Little rituals she found great pride in doing correctly. She moved swiftly but with purpose, the tail end of her cloak flapping behind her as the breeze caught it. A long black curl of hair peeked from beneath her hood, but she kept the rest of her face hidden. He liked that as well. He told her, women should remain mysterious. If they give too much of that away, they become meat. And when they are meat, they are devoured, she whispered softly out loud and clutched her basket to her side. As she reached the edge of the waterfall, a sound scrambled behind her. Perhaps it was a small animal like a rabbit or a squirrel. When she turned to look, nothing was there, just darkness caressing the curves of the trees like hungry hands wanting to grope the bark and strip it naked. The darkness seemed deeper than it was when she first got here. A night of moonless black stretching across the land like a blanket of snow. But it was too wet for such things. The trees here, not wild forest that she's familiar with. It was more like a jungle, more vines and strange growth. Less pine and maple trees. Winter here was the rainy season. When she turned around, he was already there drinking from a stream that led to the waterfall. Her breath caught in her throat and his eyes darted upwards to meet her gaze. "You're late," his voice said softly into her mind, and she trembled a little. She pulled the cloak around herself tightly to hide herself a little more. "I came, though, like before, like I promised." true. She watched him as he lifted his head and tilted it to one side, a look of perplexity at her hiding herself from him. Why so timid? It's not like I haven't seen you naked before. Her face flushed and she swallowed hard, remembering their first night together. The savagery, the desire. I know, I gotta chill. He didn't buy it, but he did let her have her dignity. For the moment. Those eyes kept their gaze locked on hers, the intensity of his stare overwhelming. I see you have a basket there. Something to share with me? A slight cheeky smirk crossed her lips and she replied back, only if you can behave. Ha 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 ha! He chuckled at that, a strange sound she'd never thought she'd hear from him, but she liked it. He stepped towards her, his paws splashing in the stream. It was very shallow, just trickling down towards its goal. Little pebbles shimmered within as his paws walked deftly across. Behave! And how shall I behave for you then? Is there a proper way a wolf must behave for a lady? Something twinkled in his golden eyes, something dark, dangerous, and alluring. Something that promised many things but would reveal none until he wanted to. She knelt down to put the basket at her feet, her hand sliding in and out of the towels she wrapped her gift in. She palmed something in that instant before setting it down in front of him, but she was sure he didn't see. If he did, he'd comment on it and possibly growl at her. Wolves are cunning creatures. Tricking them is never an easy task. He sniffed the air as he approached her, and for a moment she'd forgotten why she was here again. Her breath caught in her throat at his beauty. Large, powerful beast, with soft black fur the color of jet. Eyes like melted gold pulled from flame but still sizzling. Muscled and strong, twice the size of a normal wolf. She knew he was different, especially when he pinned her down and tore her clothes off her the first time they met. She screamed so loud she thought surely someone would hear, but not in a forest this dense, dark, and far away. After sniffing the basket, he lifted his gaze to her again and arched a brow. So, you bring me tribute. I killed it myself, she said softly, and the wolf seemed to smile. Yes, I can smell it. Recently, even. Good job. Must have been hard for you, seeing as you're still... What? She said defiantly, her back straightening. A woman? He licked a fang playfully at her and replied with, No, a human. She inhaled softly and he began pulling the towels off the basket with his teeth. Slowly he revealed the prize inside, a fleshy, torn-out heart, still beating. The blood pooled in the bottom of the basket, barely contained by the folded towels under the heart that soaked up the blood. He took note of the many slash marks in it and looked up at her suspiciously. Didn't even dare to taste it. Not one bite, she said softly, and waved her free hand at him. It's all yours. His eyes narrowed into slits, and she saw his lip curl ever so softly. I cannot give you what you seek, no matter how many hearts you give me, and I know whose heart this is. She frowned and clenched the thing she palmed in her hand, holding it behind her back. But you said... Oh, I know what I said, but I told you, it's not that easy. Red screamed at him. But I am already a murderer! Already damned! I was damned the moment you raped me in that forest, when you tore everything I had away from me. My innocence, my girlish youth, my hopes and dreams. You will give this to me! He sighed, something very unlike a real wolf would do. Something only a creature beyond wolf and man could do with a wolf's lips. A human expression on a wolf's features. An expression of heartache. I know what I did. I know what I am. And you were just so perfect, she said with her own slight growl. I was perfect then. The wolf lowered his head, perhaps with a sense of shame. She couldn't tell. It seemed like a slight sorrow, like he was struggling with something internally, She tightened her grip so hard around the thing in her hand that she thought she'd snap it in two. You're still so perfect. Just different. More like me. Which is why I just cannot. He looked up at her, imploring with her, his golden eyes so beautiful, soft, and almost kind. Please, Red, you've already done too much. But there's still hope even now. Even after you've killed your grandmother. The rage boiled in her veins now, hot like lava. She felt like her skin would turn crimson with it, matching the cloak she wore. She tore it off now and let him look at her, pulling the strings that fastened it at the back and let it just drop. She wore high-thigh stockings with little lace ruffles around the tops, tiny lace black panties, and nothing else. A scar marked her belly, his claws. There were teeth marks in her neck, all healed up, but still scarred over, and in her hand she held a silver dagger. His eyes widened as he gazed upon her, realized the mistake he had made, realized what he had created. Her eyes burned like his, golden rage, as hot as a sun. You did this to me, she roared, and her fangs peeked from her gums. Red, I didn't know. I thought. You fool! You could not smell it on me? That I wasn't human anymore? That you fucked that out of me? The wolf took a step backwards into the stream as Red took a step forwards towards him. How could I have known? You still smell human, I don't understand. That's when she lunged. He almost was caught up by her blade, but escaped it with just a scratch. That scratch hurt. It burned and the wolf yelped in pain. He scampered away and shook his head to help him focus through the pain, but his vision blurred. She smiled and licked the blood off the dagger. Maybe I haven't changed enough for my scent to be different. Maybe I need your blood to fully change. Or maybe you were too close to me to notice. Do you love me, little wolfie? Was it hard for you to live with what you did to me? He was the one afraid now, and she loved it. She drank in his fear, watching his eyes dart around for an escape route as she pressed him towards a tree, just like he had done to her. He tried to run when she pinned him, pressing her weight against him. She laughed darkly as he struggled, making pain whimpers as she stabbed him again with the blade. So did you love me, Wolfie? Or was I just another perfect little victim for you to feed off of? The wolf cried out in anguish as she stabbed him, his blood spilling between them, cooling on the dried leaves below. His golden eyes swam now, his gaze hazy with loss of blood. He watched her lick the blade again and said in a raspy voice, You were both. Sometimes love is like that. Sometimes you must be hunter and hunted. It's the bitterness of the broken heart that makes you a monster. I gave you exactly what you wanted. She didn't like his response. With swift, brutal movement, she stabbed him again and again and again until she was coated in his dark blood. Red was stained crimson while the wolf's eyes glowed no more, turning from smoldering embers into black ash. When he finally gave his last death rattle, she kissed his muzzle and dropped his body unceremoniously to the ground. No, the one thing I wanted you'll never give me. You'll never let me be your mate. Now it doesn't matter. She looked down at him, her eyes hard. Whatever she felt was now locked away behind the solid gold in her gaze, and that gold wasn't going to waver. She inhaled deeply and looked down at her hands, noticing that they were now claws. Claws that dripped blood. She studied them intently and after a few moments growled and waved them about. Come on, change back! She stopped waving them and looked at them again. A slight black fur was forming on her knuckles, her eyes widening in panic. No, he's dead. I killed the fucker. I killed him! Change back! She balled them into fists and waved them again. When she stopped, her arms were covered in fur. No! Arrgh! There was no moon to witness her change. She wasn't that kind of a wolf. She was something much more terrible. and she would be marked by his blood forever for it. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I wanted to do something creative since everyone wanted me to do that for the channel this month when I did that poll. I heard you guys. I'm interpreting it in my own way though, so I'm doing something new. I'm gonna share my writing with you. I thought it fit the theme of the month, right? We're doing werewolves and it's a little sexy and scary and horrible, kind of like me. I really enjoyed reading that for you guys. If you want me to do any more, readings of some of my work, I'm okay with that. I'm not like the best reader, just to let you know, like I am an amateur. I mean, I've done some spoken word stuff, but that's a little different. I thank you for listening to my show this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it fit the werewolf theme pretty good, and it's, one of those werewolf stories for the ages. I love different versions of Red Riding Hood. I like seeing what people do with it. Thank you for watching or listening. Either works for me. If you like the story, tell me in the comments below. Maybe tell me your favorite part. I want to read your feedback. That'd be really cool. If you like me doing this sort of thing, let me know that too, because maybe I'll do more of it. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and I will see you next time for more werewolf goodness. Oh, and don't forget to do my tag video. The werewolf tag is up, and I already have started a playlist. We've got like a couple people doing it already. There's like 4 or 5 of us there. I'm so happy. Love you guys. Mwah. And you don't have to be tagged to do it. You can just do it, okay? Queenie Beast gives you permission, and I'm sure that a couple people in their videos give you permission as well. Listen to these folks. They know what they're talking about. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Howl at the moon for me. Ow! Ah, woo, 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 woo. Whiff, whiff. I'll see you next time. Bye!